Not dang. Welcome, everyone. Regular meeting of council, Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. We would like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Inkakapa and Silk people. Late items, we don't have a big late item, but I will turn this over to the CAO for a introduction of a staff member. Or Linda.
Thank you, Your Worship. I lost the arm wrestle there.
Okay.
But I am very proud to introduce Yamna Giuliani, who is our new intern from the LGMA. She will be joining us for a year, and she has just started this week.
Excellent. And this position was fully funded?
This position is funded by the LGMA. There's a small contribution from the city to support this position, but the majority of it comes from LGMA.
Excellent.
Yes.
Welcome and thank you. And have a good time. Appreciate it. Public input. Mr. Robert French. Is Mr. French online? Oh, sorry. Seal.
Thank you, Your Worship. Mr. French has indicated that he wished to appear in regard to item 8.2, the DVP. Yeah. He is not online at this point.
Okay, so when we get to 8.2, we'll make sure see if he's online, and Absolutely. If not, so that's the only one we had. So we'll move on. Adoption of minutes. 4.1 regular meeting minutes, May 13th, 2025. Recommendation that the minutes of the regular council meeting be held on May 13th, 2025 be adopted. Councillor Etcher, Councillor Charney, or Charlie as she gets called once in a while. Any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. No. Bylaw 7.1. Zoning amendment bylaw number 2399-2025. Recommendation that zoning amendment bylaw 239-2025 be adopted. Councillor Baxter, Councillor Petrosi. Any questions, queries of the sort on this? Anyone? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. 7.2 proposed development approval process bylaw number 2388-2025. Recommendation, and we have 3 of them, that the City of Merritt develop approval procedures bylaw 2388-2025 to be read a first time. Councillor Baxter, Councillor Ogan, any questions on this one? Councillor Ogan.
Yeah, so regarding the permit validity, so I noticed that it comes from, I said reduction from 24 months to 12 months, correct? So what's the rationale, behind this change?
I'm gonna bring the team up who's been working on it to be able to answer some of those questions. And I just want to preface some of it in case some of the changes here are really like process clerical change in legislation, and some of them are to speed up the development process. So you'll see, just FYI, it doesn't necessarily answer this question, but there are some things in here that allow the staff to do a few more approvals that are minor variances, and that way it speeds up the development process for people doing construction in the community. But I'll let Pradesh, Mr. Jani, respond to Councillor Ogan's question.
Mr. Jani,
so your questions regarding the validity of development permit?
The reduction from 24 months to 12 months. I was just concerned because shortened timelines may strain developers, especially bigger projects. I just want to understand more the rationale behind that reduction.
I can provide some rationale. So currently, we are dealing with development permits that has been applied 2 or 3 years before, and sometimes we notice that there has been no progress from the applicant regarding the development permit application. So that's why we want to come up with a restrictive timeline, so that we don't want to have like a application that has been applied like 2-3 years back, and after providing our referral comments, we have to chase the applicant to confirm whether they are still progressing or not. So we want to have like a strict timeline that once they have to have a proper plan when they apply for developer permit, like they have to secure their financing. They have to have a proper plan, like they will, once the DP is issued, they will work towards it in a good faith and in a professional manner. But right now we're seeing a lot of DP application that has been there has been no progress, and we have to all the time we have to chase them and ask them, are you moving forward with this project? We have been provided comments to you a year back and we haven't heard anything. Sometimes some applicants works professionally and try to address our comments in timely manner, but we have been noticing that some applicants are not really
So, and
responding.
but I'm sorry, and I'm assuming that there is gonna be some exceptions when you are, reviewing on a case by case basis, just in case if a big project needs more than 12 months for the process.
So I think ultimately, if there's any progress moving forward, right? So if they've applied for a DP, we expect they have prepared in some fashion. So if they are not showing any forward movement at all. So if they're in contact with our staff, if they're submitting documents along the way, it shows movement. We have several developments that have had 2 or 3 DPs issued and have had no progress and had those ones canceled. So we are trying to keep people on track. We don't want to project manage their projects, which sometimes ends up happening. Thank you, team. But we really want to help people recognize that, we don't have all the time in the world to chase them. We want them to move these things forward. But we do have some that are very long, that progress is happening and they continue to happen. So they're extended and it's going well. It's those ones where we're constantly waiting 6-8 months for updates.
Thank you.
And so this bylaw has been prepared by reviewing municipalities like District of Lake Country, City of Kamloops. So this process is consistent with the best practices and legislation. So yeah, I mean, other municipalities that we have checked, they have similar timeline. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Janney. Any other, Councillor Edge?
So I have a similar question to what Councillor O'Geen had because before we had the 2 years, and I guess the concern is that sometimes you have a plan, you have financing, but sometimes there's delays with contractors with, say, plumbing or whatever it could be. Maybe it's not a signed development permit. It might be a multi-use building that takes 16 months, 18 months due to unforeseen circumstances. So if that happens, do they have to pay for a new permit or will you extend the one that's there? And would there be the same fees? Like, would they have to pay for the building permit, the development permit, or just like, how would that work?
So once the DP is expired, then they have to reapply for the development permit. I think currently a DP is still valid until the building permit is issued. So DP is issued, then the building permit is issued, then the clock starts and it is valid to, I think, 2 years or 1 year. I'm not exactly sure. 2?
So excuse me. So there's a provision in the bylaw. Sorry. Yeah. So there's a provision in the bylaw which says that a DP can be extended under extenuating circumstances. So if the developer comes forward saying, we need to extend the DP because maybe they weren't able to secure the finances or maybe their contractor changed.
Yeah.
So we do consider that and we have in certain cases extended DPs.
Okay.
But if a building permit is issued within the 12 months, then there's reasonable consideration given because after the building permit is issued, for as long as the building permit is valid, the DP is also valid. So if the BP is issued at say 11th month, the DP still remains valid beyond that 1 year. But the reason being, we don't want developments that are happening maybe 2 years later to follow bylaws that were 2 years older, right? So I think the 12 months is a reasonable time for developers to start working on the current bylaws.
And what is the process for asking for an extension? They would just come to development services and explain to you what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
We would require a written explanation about why they want an extension and then proceed.
Yeah, the only reason I'm
It's
asking.
the three amigos.
Especially with the tariff threats and everything like that in the supply chain situation, it can be a concern.
If
Mr.
I
Green.
may, thank you, your worship. Elbow me if I'm wrong, but we send out notices well in advance of the expiry to notify people before. We don't just let things lapse to the end and then they come in 2 months afterwards and we tell them they're expired and they have to reapply. We send out notices ahead of time so that they're aware. And if they don't respond after that and correct things, then it expires. So that was sort of the one thing I didn't hear talked about tonight. Thought I should interject that.
Excellent. Thank you.
No elbow, okay?
And I think we've seen, and again, don't elbow me, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. When this team came on board, we started to go through some of these older DPs that were really outdated and nothing had happened. And files are sitting open, which means the staff have to build time into their workflow to review those files that nothing's happened in 3 years, kind of 4 years kind of thing. So it's really about keeping the file load moving and the people who are actively working towards development, developing, right? And again, being able to make that phone call. And we're also monitoring things like the tariffs within our own organization and how that's impacting our development. So we'll be keeping an eye on how it's impacting our local contractors and people with land in the community.
Great, thanks.
Anyone else? Thank you, team. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Almost feel like I should be like now appearing development services from the basement where they're never allowed upstairs though. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Recommendation that City of Merritt Development Approval Procedures Bylaw number 2388-2025 be read as second time. Councilor Petrosi, Councilor Etchart, any questions? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Recommendation that the City of Merritt Development Approval Procedures Bylaw 2388-2025 be read a third time. Councilor Baxter, Councilor Owen, any questions? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. New business 8.1 BC Transit Operating Agreement. We have a recommendation. What's that? Oh, it's 8.1 now. We had a change. New agenda. Things changed here. I think you need, where is it? I had an extra one. Where did it go? Anyways, it's 8.1. BC Transit Operating Agreement. So this is like metric. Add 10. So 7.1 is now 8.1. Recommendation that council authorize the CFO to sign the BC Transit 2025-2026 annual operating agreement. Councillor Egan, Councillor Baxter, any questions on that? Councillor Charney.
I know there's nothing we can do, but I still have a really hard time looking at the loss of the transit that we experience in this town. The only revenue is 106,000 and our share of costs is 305. That's a big hit to the community. And I don't know how longer it can be sustainable as the cost of things go up. I think transit has to be looked at. The amount of ridership, I don't know, but that's tax dollars and that's a huge amount. And I really think transit should be looked at. I know the provincial government says we have to provide it, but maybe it should be on a reduced rate.
Do we have, CL?
Council, I believe, has a resolution about
We do.
looking at the provincial transit formula model because it isn't sustainable, as well as we need to address the contribution from the TNRD for the route that goes out to Lower Nicola, because currently they're not covering the cost of that. So there are places where we're going to work now to try and find some savings so that we have a true idea of what it should be costing so that we can have a proper evaluation of those things. I do think you're right. Transit's important, but it's really costly for the whole community.
Councillor Charney.
Oh, I was just gonna interject that, yeah, it's on our resolutions to go to UBCM, so hopefully we'll get the support from the smaller communities, because I do agree that it's a huge cost for us, but also important, so.
I think we will get the support because you saw the support when they were talking about centralization
Yeah.
and how that got burned to the ground. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when something looks like it's unsustainable, when it is used as much as it is, there needs to be a new formula, kind of like our policing.
And we have the highest ridership and still
Yes.
we're subsidizing it this much, so
You bet.
thanks.
Any other questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Do we have Mr. French online for 8.2? We do not. Okay. Well, we'll move ahead with it anyways. Development variance permit 1634 Lundy Creek Road. We have a recommendation that council grants development variance permit 202501 to vary section 7.36A of the City of Merritt zoning bylaw number 2284-220 to decrease the minimum interior setback from 1.2 meters to 1.03 meters for the western side of the property at 1634 Linden Creek Road. Councillor Egan, Councillor Oben, any questions on this? Councillor Charney.
Probably a question for the permit group. Was a permit taken out to build this patio?
Me? Or whoever? They're back. Coming to the mic all the way from the downstairs.
Thank you, Worship. So there was a building permit. It's just that in the process of reviewing it, this is something that came up. So once this is passed, then the building officials can close this permit. So yes, there is a building permit that's kind of taken out for this now.
So what I don't understand is when you go through the building permit, you have to show your design.
Yeah.
So how did this happen that it goes over 117 millimeters? If the design was approved,
Thank you, Your Worship. This is one of those ones that happened without a permit originally. And then it was noticed and the department acted on an enforcement basis. And this is sort of where it sits in that area of pulled back as far as it could based on what was kind of built and cut back. So the system is working when things get noticed and enforced, but in a lot of cases where things don't meet it. So our opportunity to the applicant was you can either go through the variance process or cut your deck back. He chose to go through the variance process, which gives you the decision-making power on whether or not you're happy with it.
so I don't want to be the Grinch, but we have a bylaw. And so I decide to build a patio or a deck or whatever, and the bylaw says I have to be this far away from the fence, but I don't want to be that far away from the fence. I want a bigger patio. So I build a patio and I'll take my lumps after and I'll go to the council and ask for variance. But a bylaw is a bylaw. And I feel we have to follow our rules, or we're going to have everybody build a patio, build this, build that, and then come to city and ask for permission to say, I'm sorry, but it's built. Please allow me to ignore the.
And this is the system working because you'll be the oversight on that. And if had we just said no and didn't give them an opportunity to have another path, they would have come to you anyways, phone calls or in person. So this is the system working. This is what it is. So.
Mr. Mayor. So this is the system working because this person did not take out a permit to build it. It was noticed. This is the process that they have open to them. It's really important to review the fact that variances are for things that cannot be avoided. So when you talk about giving a variance to a bylaw of any kind, when you're stepping away from how the bylaw is written and meant to be enforced, it is because it cannot be avoided. So in a situation where it can be avoided, you should not be giving a variance because then you're setting a precedent for everybody to have that variance. So that's the really important part about variances. They're not just because somebody wants something, it's because there's no other way to do something.
I totally agree.
And if I may, add to that, staff currently doesn't have any objection to this other than the bylaw. There's no real safety things that anybody's pointed out or any other physical concerns to argue against it. So in this case, we would support it because the only thing that's in question is the bylaw itself, which is your decision. So we would support that in your decision or not in your decision. So.
And I will point out that we've already done this already. CNA fence is one of them. Fence was built, we varied it. So we've done this already. So this is nothing new. So just letting you know, we've done this already.
I will just say that there are a number of other places that people have been starting to build things without permits, fences and those sorts of things on city lands. And their only option at this point, unless they take it down, is to ask for a variance.
Yes.
So this is where, if you continue to allow for variances to happen, especially if they don't, like, there's no safety risk, but the issue is that there is a bylaw and this person didn't follow the process. Like several people don't follow the process. So if you allow variances for all those things, as Councillor Charney has indicated, why do we have a bylaw? Right? We have many encroachments on public lands, many encroachments on other people's lands. I was just looking at drawings at, for NVIT, appears to be some encroachments on their lands from, neighboring residences. So, you know, it's really important to remember that you're encroaching on lands that may belong to somebody else or may belong to the city or another organization, and you're not being taxed for the use of those lands. Right? So it's really important to make sure variances are given with caution.
And I'll also play devil's advocate here. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people don't understand that to put a deck on, you need a permit. They figure I'm just going to put up a deck. I'm going to put up a fence. It's my property. And then they realize that that's not correct. So, and then this happens. So, we've got a couple questions. Ed Shart, you were first.
Well, my question on this deck was that home has been there for over 50 years when this was TNRD land. So is it an extension of the deck that was already on there, or is it a new deck?
It's a new one.
They had removed the existing deck and built a new deck, and that's exactly what got noticed after the fact.
So is it bigger than the existing one?
I'm not sure it was.
And the reason I'm asking, and the only reason why I would be more inclined to accept this one is because that home has been there, I think, since the 70s, 75 or something like that. And because it was TNRD then, that's where that came in, and that 2284 was put in September 3rd, 2020. So it's not like I'm thinking pre-existing non-conforming, but if you look at some of the houses on Cooley with the setbacks being smaller because they were built 60 years ago or whatever the case, that's how this kind of ended up this way. And I don't think that the homeowner had intended to do anything.
And that's why we've gone through the process of talking to you. The pre-existing deck was torn down, if I recall. The new deck is what got noticed. Because it was basically a shiny penny sitting out there and was visible. The physical demolition didn't get noticed, but at that point, you still have to comply with the new standards. And believe it or not, you know, the old deck probably didn't comply with the standards of the day. It probably just wasn't noticed because you've never been able to go up the property lines. And I'm sure my recollection when I looked at the photo from Street View, I think they were right tight on the property line before with the old deck, and it was closed in somewhat, if I recall. So, you know, these things, as we notice them, often are a subject of, we don't go looking for them as a matter of what's been there for 30 years. We notice a change when somebody tears something down and builds it, and we're in the public safety business, so we need to make sure that the permits and the inspections are done. There was engineering required. All of this was very much a surprise, right? There was a fair bit to it that surprised everybody there.
I know that a few people have had a hard time tracking down permits for houses even built in other parts of town because of not being able to track down records for houses newer than that.
And that's why we work on the change, right? The change happened. And that's what we have to make sure it complies. They're close on what they pulled back to, on what they built. And I think they even modified it a little bit after the fact. You're nodding, that's good. That's as close as they could get it with the structure they built. So they're off by, what was it?
0.9.
Yeah. So, 6 inches.
A small amount, okay. Thank you for the info.
Councillor Rogan?
Yeah, I just want to make something clear here. The fact that we may have approved certain variances in the past doesn't mean that we will be approving in the future ones. So I feel like this council or the future council will be reviewing these applications on a case-by-case basis. And we have to also understand the factors that are with that specific application. For this one, given the small size of the variance, compliance efforts already made by the applicant, no identified risk or objections, and the staff recommendation in favor, at least the planning area, I do not have any issues approving this variance.
Councillor Egan?
I don't have a problem with this either, really, unless there are any kind of ramifications stemming from this extension. I mean, what about the neighbors or future neighbors or what's behind them?
They've placed a sign on the property through the required amount of time. If anybody had an issue, they had the ability to contact us and speak that way. So But the big, I think it's a 4x8 sheet of plywood right on front of the place saying this is what's happening.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with it.
Did you get any complaints? Councillor Baxter.
And a mail out. Yeah.
They are not encroaching on any of the neighbors' properties.
No,
So-
the only negative I can see there really is they remove their own access to their own backyard. Because they don't have access from the rear. So the only way to get anything in the backyard would have been down the side setback of the house. And now there's still continuation of what was a deck and a deck. They've got no way to get into the backyard with anything other than walking probably. So I'd see that as negative, but not really our issue from a function perspective. It's their issue.
Councillor Charney.
The way I look at it is it's not whether they're encroaching on any of this person's property or anyone's complained. It's the fact that once we open this box, this Pandora's box of saying, oh, yes, we'll give you a variance. Then next week, we have someone else coming in and asking for us for a variance. And then we say, well, we've already given 2 variances. We might as well give this a variance. And then sooner or later, no one's going to pay attention to the bylaws because we have given so many variances. So I feel that that's the bylaws there to protect everyone in the future. Maybe they sell the house, the neighbor sells the house, and then that neighbor says, well, you know, you're too close to my property line. So now you've got a problem. So in my linear thinking, the bylaw is the bylaw, and we have to follow that bylaw.
And if I may as well, the process that we were having the applicant follow comes at a cost as well. So variances aren't just a throw in an application and get it. There's costs involved in applying for the variance. There's work that's got to be done by staff. So there is a bit of oversight that way because they have to be committed and confident in what they're doing. And we would be guiding them as well on the support end of it based on what we see out there. You wouldn't want somebody spending the money on an application that we're not going to support. We would coach them that way. And we have on some of the other applications going, we are not going to support this. I think we talked about a driveway recently to that end.
So for myself, we're talking 6 inches here. If this was 6 feet, it'd be a different story. But 6 inches, I'm not gonna worry. And we talk about the system working, and I understand that we do have the bylaw, but as Councillor Ogan has said, we don't have to agree to change every variance that comes our way. We get to review every single one. So for me, 6 inches is not gonna make me make any changes here to where they have to take the deck down for 6 inches. Because I got a feeling I wouldn't be on their Christmas card list after that. So not for 6 inches. So Councillor Egan.
Yeah, the only other thing that I was thinking when I read it, it seemed like he had hired somebody who did the plan, and then the mistake, the error wasn't even discovered until they brought it in for review. So it's not necessarily the homeowner's fault because it was the designer or
Well, they hire and
they rely
yeah,
on
they
those
rely on
people.
them, but
Yes.
that's definitely not the city's issue either. That's the people they hire and, you know. and
I
that's
realized
what-
that, but it
that's-
wasn't even, the error wasn't discovered until it came to city. So like I say, for 6 inches, I
The
don't
deck
think I
wasn't
would worry about
discovered
it
either
either.
until the city discovered it. So it's one of those things that you're right. It's not that big of a deal. And that's why we're supporting it. And the entire process was an eye opener for everybody. So it's good to see it working.
Excellent. We've got a mover and seconder on that, do we not? Yes, we do. Any other questions? Thank you, team, again.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get you to kill that mic before you go. Thanks, Pranesh. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. 8.3, naming rights policy. Recommendation that council adopt the naming rights policy as presented. Councillor Baxter, Councillor Ogan. Any questions on the naming rights? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Advertise on public property policy. Recommendation that council adopt the advertising of public property policy as presented. Councillor Ogan or Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Etchart, any questions on that? No, this is public property. Naming rights we've gone by. This is advertising on public property policy. Oh, Councillor Charney.
Okay, I didn't flip my paper quick enough on the sponsorship cost matrix. Okay, well, we got 10 million bucks there instead of $1 million.
Well, it might be 10 million. You don't know.
So that's an error. It has to be corrected.
We'll just amend it. Thank you.
That'd be kind of good advertising. then.
Yes,
Take that.
yes.
Dang. Yep. Any questions on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Want to thank not yet. Also want to thank, on this advertising, I'd like to thank our, Dave Zackel and his crew. It's been a bit of a thorn to get this done because, so thank you for the hard work. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of phone calls, so appreciate that. 8.5, street naming policy recommended. Yeah, we just did it. Oh. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna go back to 8.3. Okay, advertising on public property policy. I'm sure I've read this already. Yeah.
Ask for that correction about the rights $10 million.
Sure, sounds good to me. So we're at 8.4. Why am I quibbling about 8.3 at this point in time? That's what I just asked for. All in favor? And I was told no. I've already done 8.4. That conversation got seconder. Everything's done. How about we do this? All in favor? Good. 8.3. What's the problem?
Councillor Charney asked us to just make that typo correction.
Excellent. Can we do that on 8.3? All those in favor? Fantastic. Anybody want to go to 8.2? No? Okay, good. 8.5, street naming policy. Recommendation that council adopt the street naming policy as presented. Councillor Ogan, Councillor Petrosi, any questions on the street naming? All those in favor? Oh, hold it, everyone calm down. Councillor Hogan, you're up.
Thank you. So I think that it's a big improvement of what we received before. So I'm happy to see, you know, the nature and landscape, the fauna, the cultural and regional. While some names like Swacom as well as Monashi, I believe,
Monashi, yeah.
may reflect some local heritage. I wish that in the future, if it is not now, we can include a little bit more of indigenous, you know, participation as well of community participation on this one. So I feel like this is a good start. So this is a few numbers, names there. It's a little limited, but we can expand it later on with the involvement of all these, you know, First Nations in community.
And I think that's where you'll see the MOU that we're working on with First Nations come into play, because that would be the whole idea of MOU. So, CAO?
And I think like we don't build a lot of extra streets, so this will probably get us through the next 5 or 6 years. And the idea with these ones in particular is that most of these are translatable to an Indigenous language. So we really looked for something that we could do signage in the Indigenous languages, except for Monashi, which I think means mountain of peace in Gaelic or something Scottish. So everything else should be translatable.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Again, I want to thank the policy committee for going over those and working hard at that. So nice to see our policy committee working. Autocross event 8.6, relaxation of zoning and building bylaws. We have 2 recommendations. I'll read the first one. Recommendation that council relax the City of Merritt zoning bylaw 2284-2020 to allow overnight camping on the 4510 Airport Road at the airport for the participants in the autocross events from June 6th, 2025 to June 8th, 2025, August 1st, 2025 to August 3rd, 2025, and September 12th, 2025 to September 14th, 2025. Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Ogan, any questions on this? This is a returning group. They bring close to 80 participants, I believe. Well, more like 100. And they're here usually for 2 days this time, correct? 2 days. So that's 2 days of people in our hotels and eating at our restaurants and buying gas. Yeah, but so 3 times. So any other questions on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Second recommendation. That council relax the building bylaw 2382-2025 regarding temporary building permits for special events, facilities, tents, etc., to allow the autocross group to erect a high-top marquee tent on the airport property on June 6th, 2025 to June 8th, 2025, August 1st, 2025 to August 3rd, 2025, and September 12th, 2025 to September 14th, 2025. Councillor Etchart, Counselor Baxter. Any questions on them putting up a revival tent? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. 8.7, relaxation of zoning bylaw to allow VSA, which is the Vancouver Soaring Association, camping at the airport. Recommendation that council relaxes the City of Merritt zoning bylaw number 2284-2020 to allow overnight camping at 4510 Airport Road at the city airport for the participants of the VSA group for the dates of June 13th, 2025 to June 20th, 25. Councillor Egan, Councillor Etchart, any questions on the VSA people? Councillor Charney.
Just wondering where the 3150 per unit for camping, where the revenue would be going.
That's in the next one, but how about we get through this one first?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Now for Councillor Charney's shining moment. Recommendation that council direct staff to charge a non-service site amount of 3150 per unit per night to the VSA group. Councillor Ogan, Councillor Petrosi. Questions, Councillor Charney?
Yes,
Yes.
I'd like to know where the 3150 per unit would be going. This goes to general.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we could put it into our reserve fund for the camp, the Claybanks Park, or into recreation so that it does, or the airport, so it doesn't get lost?
I mean, you could, it's probably gonna be fairly insignificant amount. It's probably, I think they said 10 or 8 tents. So it's a pretty small amount. Wouldn't make a significant contribution to any of the reserves. I mean, general revenue is what we use to pay for all of the things that we do,
Mhm.
so.
So we're asking them to come back after several years of not being here. So I think this is a good test. I mean, if we just keep doing this and all of a sudden it jumps to 45 or 50 people up there, then I think we need to kind of look at something like that. But for this first one being like 7, 8
Yeah, if
tents.
it's only that number.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think-
there's gonna be a lot more.
I think
I thought
falling
there's
into
gonna be a whole
general.
bunch of them. Yeah.
Councillor,
Yeah, so why are they, me? Yeah,
Yep.
so why are they charging for this for the Vancouver Soaring Association, but not for the autocross?
so let me take a shot at this and maybe Dave, you can, I do believe because the autocross people are paying to rent the entire airport. Whereas the VSA people are getting to use the airport because they have planes that fly, so we don't charge for that. And there has to be a nominal fee for camping, but the autocross people are already paying a service to rent the entire airport. Am I right or am I wrong? Thank you. So that's where we're at. So.
Day.
Yeah.
Whereas these people will just be paying the tie down fees because they are airplanes or airplane trailers to trailer the airplanes in, and then the nominal fee for camping.
Because being an aircraft, they're allowed to use the airport without paying for it. Do we vote yes or no on that? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Oh, call it. Wendy, are you, no, there we go. Man, we're firing on all cylinders tonight. 8.8, pickleball club request for expansion of playing court area. Councillor Charney.
I will have to excuse myself from this discussion as I am a member of the pickleball club.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Shut your mic off before you go. Shut your mic off.
I make it.
Excellent. We'll get that on YouTube. Yeah, we'll get that on YouTube. Apparently they let anybody play this game. So we have 2 recommendations. Recommendation number 1, that council recommend that the city of Merritt support Merritt pickleball and local community sports groups in exploring design and expansion plans for recreational use of the city owned property. Councillor Egan, Councillor Etchart, any questions on this? Councillor Hogan.
So no, I was just reviewing the information provided. It's very low cost to the city, community driven project that aligns with the strategic recreational goals. So I don't have any issues.
Thank you. Councillor Egan, or Etchart, sorry.
I'm just wondering where would they expand to? Like, is it, would
The
they
old,
have to move the whole
the old lawn
fence?
bowling.
Yeah,
Lawn
so,
bowling now is a quagmire.
so they don't have the whole thing now?
No. No, this would be looking to expand it into that position.
I thought they did have the whole thing.
No, they do not.
Essentially, part of it is there and it's gonna need to be built up a little bit and resurfaced. So they only have there's the courts surfaced courts that are there, but the lawn bowling is not being used. And ultimately, you know, we've asked them to work with other court user groups to see if we can build a court facility.
Racquetting.
And so if they expand this and have it that way, will other user groups be able to access it with their approval? And
So what we've indicated is that it's on public lands, so should be accessible to public other than the times that they have it booked, like a park would. If they're going to put a shelter over it, that may change because there might be some issues around like fire safety. So, you know, we don't let people skate in the arena without arena staff because we have some life safety issues there. Same thing with the pool. But ultimately, if they're going to be indoor courts, depending on how they're built, there might be some issue around having to have it open only when somebody from their group is there, but outdoor courts. So if they can't build an indoor shelter and they still want outdoor courts, we made it, the director and I met with them, with someone from their group last week who's here, and indicated that outdoor courts, we really need to see more access to the public when they're not being used by the Pickleball Society, although they do use them quite a bit.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Second recommendation that council direct staff to draft a letter of support from the city of Merritt to the Merritt Pickleball Group to help in their submissions for grant funding. Council Petrosi, Council Petchert. Any questions on this one? All those in favor? Carried. Opposed, carried. Thank you. That's simple, done. You can go home now. Yeah, you're good. Notices of motion. Oh, we gotta wait for Wendy to come back. She's probably out there. She's probably out there vaping. Oh, there she is. Who? Oh, yes. Yes, you'll be able to sprain your ankle further. Excellent. Notices of motion. I will go first. 9.1 baseball diamond lights at Central Park. AmeriGas submitted the following notice of motion on at the May 13th, 2025 regular. And the motion is that staff be directed to work with the local baseball organizations to identify the feasibility of installing lights at Central Park baseball diamonds. They have also, Councillor Egan, Councillor Baxter. They have, the reason that we're doing this is because they have requested lights, but they also have requested the fact that they have some funding that they would be able to help with these lights. So we need staff to explore that. We've also explained to them that this would extend their season. This would extend their play during the day. The lights have changed quite a bit, and Mr. Zach might want to comment on this. At one point in time, you needed about 20 lights all the way around. Now you can get away with possibly just 2 big giant lights. And I do believe these are cut lights, so the light stays down on the field and that does not go up before, okay? So it's not as onerous as it used to be, because I remember one time when we were looking at this, I think 2011 or 2013, it was like 14 to 15 to 20 lights that had to go in there. And the community up top was pretty excited about the possibility of light pollution. But I think almost all the lights that we're putting in the city now are cut lights. So the light is cut down rather than going up. So we're conscious of light pollution. Councillor Charney.
I have 2 that I would like to bring forward.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just want to know if there's any.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Councillor Baxter, Councillor Egan. Councillor Egan, Councillor Baxter. So any questions on that part? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Notice of motion for everybody else. Councillor Charney.
I would like to bring forward the motion that the city have AEDs at all city-owned facilities. I think that's really important, that a life-saving measure is within reach of anybody that is in a city-owned facility. I know they're expensive, between $1,800 and $2,400. Mr. Zackel gave me information today as to where we do have some AEDs, but I think it's really important from a safety standard for the city that we have AEDs at every city-owned facility. So I'd like to make a motion that we look into purchasing, and not all of them at once, but into purchasing AEDs for all city-owned facilities.
1. That's one.
That's one. Oh, do we vote on this one or do I go to the next one too?
No, this is notice of motion. Yeah. So we wait 2 weeks before we discuss this.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
So I go to my next one
Next
now?
one.
Okay.
Did you give the CO this in writing?
No,
Okay. you'll
but I
have to-
will.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this one I can give it in writing. Okay, okay, a lifeguarding program. I would like to see the city enter into a lifeguarding program with the school. Councillor Egan is laughing at me. When you have a lifeguarding program that coordinates between the city and the school, you create a shared investment in public safety and youth development. The school can integrate the program into physical education or extracurricular activities. This type of a partnership ensures a steady supply of trained lifeguards to staff the pool and equip students with valuable life-saving skills and potential employment opportunities. A joint lifeguarding program promotes community engagement and strengthens the relationship between the city and the schools. So students who are participating in the program can gain a sense of civic responsibility and confidence through hands-on training, and at the same time, the city benefits from a more health-conscious, skilled, and job-ready youth population. The program will foster long-term community resilience and will provide a clear path for students to contribute meaningfully to their community.
No, we normally don't discuss notices of motion, but I see CAO, you've got something there.
I just have a question. Can I, before we bring this as a motion, can I send council some information about this before you make it a notice of motion? Because we have some background that I think is important for you to know around this idea. So rather than having it come as a notice of motion, if you wouldn't mind taking an email from us around
I
it
think we already
first.
know what you're talking about. Because if I might add to this, this was a program that the city of Esquimalt was having a really hard time getting lifeguards. And through this very program, they trained 91 lifeguards.
We've tried this here as well.
So that's
and
why I'm
it
saying,
failed.
that's why I'm saying, like, I don't wanna, this is not meant to be discussed right now.
No.
So I don't wanna, but if council wouldn't mind us giving you some background before it comes as a motion, then I think it's a little bit.
I think not to already but I think we should because this has been tried here. And I think you should see what, yes, it has been tried here. So I think send the information out to all of us and then next meeting, if you can bring
Okay,
us back.
and let's get some information.
Yes,
from the final.
yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sure. Let's do it that way. So if
We can get it.
Okay.
So CO, we have one going and then one on hold. Thank you. Anyone else with notices of motion or emotion? Councilor Charney, you got another one there? Or?
No, I'm.
Well, your mic's on, so. Just making sure. Thank you. Reports from council. Councilor Baxter.
Okay, on May 14th, I went to the Merritt Country Christmas community gathering to figure out what we're doing for the Christmas parade. On May 22nd, I went to the Nicola Valley Transportation Meeting and we discussed a few things, concerns they have about stops and routes. And May 22nd, came and joined the policy committee. It was fun. I like to go to the policy committee. It's good to learn other things.
Councilor Egan.
Yeah, thank you. I also went to the policy meeting. It was very productive. I think the most beneficial thing that I went to was the 2025 BC Economic Development Association Conference. And Alex was there, Wendy was there. It was really, really, really informative. The types of projects that other communities are doing are absolutely incredible. And I'm sorry, but I haven't had enough time since then to put my report together, but I will have it in detail for you in the next week.
Mine won't be.
There's lots of great ideas that Merritt could do to help young entrepreneurs, to help the marketers from the farmers market, the downtown revitalization, just amazing things. And teaming with Indigenous groups and not looking in the past, but looking to the future for what's best for the future generations of all communities. So you're gonna get your minds blown when you read our report.
I'm just.
Councilor Charney.
On May 16th, I had my 1 hour meeting with Urban Matters with regards to housing. May 21st, that's pretty good. That's a new word. May 21st, I attended the dinner session with James Ridge. He had a presentation and discussion with regards to municipal affairs. The guy is excellent. He's really interesting to listen to, wealth of knowledge. And I think he helped us with a few little things. May 22nd, again, policy review. It was good. And on Saturday, the 24th, after the mayor sent out a text about ICS at the Spirit Square, the family day. I had family up there with 4 little ones and we packed them into the car and off we went. And I'm telling you, it was great. I knew nothing about it until the mayor sent a notice, and they had the bouncy castle, they had face painting, they had hot dogs, they had hamburgers, they had everything. Kids loved it. So I thought it was a well put together event.
Hardest part was getting Councillor Charney out of the bouncy castle.
I don't want to hit you.
Yeah.
And at the ECDEV, I'm not as enthusiastic as Councillor Egan, but there were 2 things that really struck me. The co-op, forming a co-op in the community, and food hubs. Those were 2 that really struck with me. And I gave some information to the CAO on the co-op. And there are 2 young fellows that we met, and they would like to meet with us via Zoom. And then we could look into the possibility of developing a co-op. And I just wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, Agritech, Futurepreneur, Innovate BC, and AgPal. All 4 of those, if we can work in conjunction with local people, First Nations, I think we could really get something going, because a lot of these, they help you develop your business and your co-op, and there's funding available. So that was really informational for me. So I'm writing that up. That's going to be the food. Yes, that information from the co-op is free. Yes, yeah. So my write-ups will basically be on the co-op and the food hub from the thing, but it was very informative.
Councillor Rogan.
Thank you. So May 13, I also met with Urban Matters to talk about housing. On May 21, I attended the Rotary Club meeting. It was very good. We had a presentation from Grace, a person who was born here in Merritt and now it's working in Chicago and dealing with shelters there. So it was a good perspective to understand how they are dealing with shelters there, homeless shelters, and what we are doing here. And I want to say thank you so much. I believe, Linda, that you put together the training on May 21st as well. It was very good training. That person is he knows a lot. He knows a lot about municipalities, and I want to say that was very well time spent. Thank you.
Sweet, I go. May 14th, Airport Appreciation Day meeting. We're pretty much got it nailed down. We got the posters all printed up and found out we couldn't use the dates, so we had to change everything. All posters had to be changed. Luckily, they were only digital at this point in time. No big deal. May 15th was TNRD. May 17th was Walk with Your Doc, and that's where this was a new thing that came to our community from a couple of nurses at Shawakam Health, and that's to walk with your doctor and get to know them a little bit. We walked around Central Park and had a really good time there. I think we had about 25 people for the first one. It was really good. May 21st was the Stuart's Burn walkthrough, and I think it was about a 3-hour event. Shirley and Joe put that on and walked everybody through it. I had to leave because I had something else at Nicola Meadows. So I went to Nicola Meadows and did my monthly update to the folks at Nicola Meadows. And then that night we did the dinner and learn with the gentleman, and it was really well done. I thought it was great. May 22nd, I met with museum staff on a project that they're looking for and support from the city. And I think we will be giving them a support letter on that. Policy committee was also on the 22nd. May 23rd, I spoke at the BC Nature Convention, their opening, and it was really well attended. Nice to see another convention come to our community. Right after Silga, right into there, I think they had 189 people. It was really well done. And then May 24th was the banquet, so I went to the banquet, and a lot of people won awards. One lady that was honored, she had passed away, but she has been banding hummingbirds for 40 years. I have no idea how you band a hummingbird. I didn't even know they had legs at this point. So anyway, some amazing things that people have done that some people are studying birds and their color. It's amazing. It is really amazing. Just a couple of here's rumor control. The Mako situation. There is a rumor out there that Mako has come to stop because the city has gotten involved and caused problems with building permits. That's completely incorrect. With a building this size, there is more than one funding model, and their funding model that they used, they knew that there would be a 1 month break before the second phase that it kicked in. So it has nothing to do with the city. Matter of fact, the Mako and the Development Services crew was record time to get Mako out 6 weeks, I believe it was, because they were following what they were supposed to. So this is incorrect. And so if you're spewing that, stop, because it's incorrect. For those who are interested in what's going on up at the airport, that is the Merritt Industrial Park, or our data center that's going in. You can see them up there moving dirt and everything around, and it's looking fantastic. So it's nice to see some of this stuff coming to the community, and they have a building plan and they're moving on it. Tomorrow night, open house from 4 till 8 at the Civic Center. Please come and ask staff anything, but don't ask council anything. How's that? No. Anyways, that's, yeah, something like that. So anyways, that's me. Councillor Etchart.
Yeah, I just forgot from my late earlier. I think I did most of the similar things that you guys did. ESS had a meeting on the 20th of May. It's nice to keep everybody kind of current in case we do have an emergency, hopefully not. May 21st, we have a dinner and learn with James from Victoria. Thank you, Linda, for organizing that. Policy review meeting went well. And a good chunk of us were there. And then it was nice to also have the meeting with Urban Matters. Thank you, Katrina, for arranging that. That was great. It's nice that they're asking for input and everybody's different opinion to see what kind of housing ideas they have for Merritt. So it was very positive and busy the last couple of weeks. And I think everybody's been busy with everything, and town's getting busy and weather's getting nice. So
supposed to be 35 tomorrow.
Yeah. Just starting to get a little bit warm.
CEO.
It's my turn.
Oh, no, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
So just want to point out, if anybody hasn't seen it, the Portland Loo is now up. Is it
It's not
usable?
serviced.
But it's up. If you
In
want to have
place.
if you want to have a look at one of those, I know there's some people in town, believe it or not, that are excited to have a look at this thing. So it's standing in its spot, but it's non-functional. But what's the timeline on that? Yeah. What's that? Yeah,
In Portland?
that's why they're called Portland Loo. So if you so if you want to see what a Portland Loo looks like, it's down by Claybanks. I'm not sure what the blast off date is on that, but we'll find out. Pardon me? About a week? Excellent. CAO report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You have your typical council resolutions and fire department activity. I will say that the fire department continues to be busy. We have had a number of false alarm calls, and our fee system is now in effect for false alarm calls because it does take a lot of staff resources for them to respond to those calls. So there will be some revenue because people aren't responding to their false alarm calls in a timely fashion, or they're having multiple false false alarms. They're usually industrial or commercial alarms typically. Mostly it's the actual alarm systems that are being called in. Smoke in a kitchen hopefully doesn't happen very often. It's a bad sign if it's smoky in the kitchen. Some of the staff, Kim and Alex, have been out to local businesses to try and get some more input into our labor market study survey. So we had very little feedback on that. We had over 400 responses to our housing survey, but only 10 responses to our labor market survey. So Alex and Kim have been out knocking on business doors and have had positive responses that people are keen to provide information about our labor force and our labor force needs in the community. So we're hoping to see by June 6th that closes, that we're hoping to see some more responses to that survey so that we can start using some of that data to talk about who are we trying to recruit, what kind of businesses do we match with our current labor force that maybe are not working full time. So, you know, if we have lots of tradespeople, we want to bring in businesses that have a trades base. right? So we really need to understand our labor market a little bit better. So that closes June 6th. I have been talking to a colleague up in the north who ran a program called Power Play Young Entrepreneurs. It's a high school, it's in the grade 7, 8, I think it is. But they create their own product, and then they have to market and sell it at a fair. So I've been talking about, yeah. So I'm working with them, trying to get a bit more information about that to see if we can get the school to help run a program like that. Because developing young entrepreneurs, people who will take over family-owned businesses or commercial businesses in our community, and stay in our community to run those businesses when people retire that's a place where nationally we're losing out. Businesses are closing because there's no young people willing to take on that risk. So working with some groups to get that up and running. I think that was kind of it. The Portland Loo, I had comments about the Portland Loo when I was at soccer with my son today.
Excellent.
We're very excited about it. It's right there so people can go to the bathroom.
Yep, Councillor Rogan.
I just want to provide a little bit of information as in 2015. So Community Features Nicola Valley and the City of Merritt, the Chamber of Commerce and the School District 58 run the Merritt Youth Entrepreneurship Program. It was from grade 6 to grade 12. So I was the one delivering the classes at all the elementary schools as well as high schools. And I have to say that there are some students, well, now they are not the students, but they are still operating, some of the businesses. So it was so successful. We had some funding through the Community Features Program. So I think that's easy to bring it back.
Councillor Charney?
I'd like to pass on to the chief that I really like the reportable fire summary. I thought it was very interesting and it's just nice information to have.
Good.
So well done on that.
I got a question on the fire report, Sia. I don't know if you can answer this, but PEP canceled en route. Do we still get a charge for that? Does that go against their budget on a canceled en route charge? Do we know, or could we get that? I'm just curious, because I know that's why false 911 calls are so hard because they're expensive. They cost, right? I'm just wondering if this is the same.
Typically, I can confirm with the chief, but you're right. Typically, when something is canceled en route, we don't bill for it.
Okay.
We can't cost recover it until we actually provide a service.
But we do pay our on-call, right?
We do pay our on-call staff for it.
So, okay.
So Chief and I have had a couple of conversations about current revenues and are we cost recovering enough?
Okay.
And I think unless the government is willing to pay for our fire services responding to medical calls, he doesn't think there's any other sources,
Okay.
but I'll talk to him specifically about that.
Thank you. Any other questions for the CAO on the report? Thank you for the report. Information items, we'll go to 12.1. Free swim numbers for the 1 year approved by council. We have a recommendation that the free swim numbers for the 1 year report be received for information. Councillor Egan, Councillor Ogan, any questions on this? Yeah. Councillor Charney.
Are we continuing with this or is it just the 1 year and it's kaput? Or do we have to say we'd like to continue it or not continue?
Yeah, it was for 1 year.
Yep.
So it would have to be a motion of council to continue, or we might just do it because we forget.
So if I tallied it up, it was over the 11 months was 648 people that used it.
Yeah. And that was
I got a lot of compliments from people who were very happy to have it. They felt that the community was giving back to the community. So thank you, Councillor Charney, for that idea. I think it went very well. You can see I don't know what March was all about.
spring break. I had to figure that.
Yeah, but you think it'd be the same at Christmas, right?
Yeah.
But no, 19 people in December. I mean, come on now. Where else can you go to get warm? Anyways, Councillor Ogan, I think I know where we're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to say that it has been very well received by the community, and I think that we need to see these, continue these programs.
Would you like to make a motion to that?
I would like to make a motion.
I need a seconder. Oh, sorry, yeah. All those in favor? Anybody want to make a motion? So Councillor Ogan, let's rewind. Here we are. So Councillor Ogan, who seconded that? Councillor Charney, Councillor Egan. All those in favor? Opposed, carried.
Sorry, see, you went really fast there, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Does council want to continue to see regular reporting on this, or
Yes.
would they rather just see an annual and renew the resolution annually?
Annual. I'm cool with
Because
it.
we've done a few periodic reports, but do we want to just have this resolution be annual and review it annually?
I think annual, it'd be, we don't need to micromanage it.
Okay, great.
No, I think annual is fine, and then we can keep these and we can compare, see where we are. Other information items, Cancer Center, decriminalization of illegal substances, and UBCM 2025 SILGA resolutions. Any questions on that? The only thing that I was not happy about, and I let the minister know, was the decrim situation. The letter is incorrect. There is been absolutely none information giving us. What they're using is the coroner's report. That's not good enough. We don't want to know about people who've passed away. We want to know about people who've actually, this has helped. So it comes to an end this January 31st. And I'm still pushing for it to be completely removed and allow our RCMP to get back to actually doing their job. And I don't think it's been good. I haven't seen any numbers that says it has been. So that's my soapbox moment. So anyone else? Closed session. Recommendation that this meeting be closed to the public pursuant to E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, if council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality of the community charter. Councillor Ogan, Councillor Egan, all those in favor? Going into closed in 5 minutes. Microphones off, everyone.